All right, so check this out. Donald Trump just accidentally slipped up and made a pretty stunning admission about his relationship, his connection to Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes. Earlier today, Donald Trump was speaking on Air Force One to reporters, and of course, people were asking him about this whole Epstein story, and he was talking about why him and Epstein eventually fell out. They weren't friends anymore. And what he said during this little diatribe he went on is just stunning. Now, I'm going to play this audio for you. You got to listen closely because it's only audio. Before I do so, make sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, comment. Please let me know what you think about this stunning audio, and let's dive in. Start here.
Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. But just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
Were some of them
young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken, and it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad, but that story's been pretty well out there, and the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young women?
Okay, so there's more to this audio, and it gets even worse, if you can even believe it. Time out for a second, though. Donald Trump just admitted that Epstein went to Mar-a-Lago, his club in Florida, and took young women from him. So Donald Trump was, I mean, we don't really know this part of it, but either intentionally or unintentionally facilitating Epstein's crimes. Now, Donald Trump has never admitted this before, that Epstein took young women from his properties and then would lure them into his crime ring, his disgusting world of crime. And now Donald Trump is just casually saying that in this impromptu interview on Air Force One. He just shot himself in the foot in a huge way. And this Epstein story just got even worse for Donald Trump. Let's continue. And as I said, it gets worse.
In the spa. Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, that include Virginia Giuffre?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
Wow. So a lot to unpack there, but Donald Trump just admitted on audio. I mean, I'm stunned by what I'm hearing. He just admitted on audio that one of Epstein's victims was poached from his property when she was working at Donald Trump's spa. Now, two major issues with what I'm just hearing. Number one, Donald Trump referring to Virginia Giuffre, who was a minor at the time, under the age of 18, as being stolen is strange enough. But also, why does he have 17-year-olds working at the spa in Mar-a-Lago? That's a totally different problem for another time. But here's where it gets really disturbing. Here's the big problem with what Donald Trump just said. It's the timeline and Trump's knowledge of what Epstein was doing, who Epstein was. Ryan Goodman broke this down, saying, here's the very disturbing part of this, the timing and Trump's knowledge. In the year 2000, Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell took, quote unquote, Virginia Giuffre from Mar-a-Lago. Then in 2002, Trump said, of course, the most infamous line about Epstein being a terrific guy and that he liked women on the younger side. That's what Donald Trump said. And then in 2004, Trump broke off his friendship with Epstein. So what we know to be 100% true now is that the MAGA claim that Donald Trump dropped Epstein because he did something inappropriate with a young girl is totally false, because in 2004, their friendship ended. But also, Donald Trump knew who Epstein was, what he was doing, what he was into in the year 2000, and he was still exposing these young girls to Epstein. He knew, even before 2002, what Epstein was doing, or at least who he was. I mean, evidenced by the fact that Epstein, or that Donald Trump said about him that he likes younger women. right? Trump is saying that that's his own admission. He knew, and yet he still subjected women to Epstein anyway. And Brian Tyler Cohen, who many of you know on YouTube does great work, pointed this out in a really great post that I saw earlier today, saying that Virginia Giuffre was first abused and trafficked by Epstein in 2001, a year after Epstein, or at least we know of a year after Epstein and Maxwell took her from Mar-a-Lago. Within 1 year, Trump would tell New York Magazine that Epstein is, quote, a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. In other words, he clearly knew who Epstein was and still exposed these young girls to him. Disgusting and absolutely indefensible. And that's exactly right. It's disgusting. It's indefensible. And this audio that Donald Trump just said earlier today is perhaps one of the most damning admissions we heard from Donald Trump so far surrounding this Epstein thing. So far, he claimed that everything was fake, everything is not true, it's a Democrat hoax. Now he's openly admitting that Epstein was taking people from his property and then using them for his crimes. It's absolutely disgusting. And the interesting part about this all, again, is timing. The same day that Donald Trump made this admission is the same day that Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney said that is essentially blackmailing Donald Trump and the Republicans in Congress. Her attorney, in a letter to Chairman Comer, who is the chairman of the House Oversight Committee where Ghislaine Maxwell has been subpoenaed to testify, Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney said in this letter that she will invoke her Fifth Amendment rights during this congressional deposition unless she's granted immunity. So she's saying either my way or the highway, essentially. Either you give me immunity so I can speak and even perhaps admit to horrible crimes and I can't be prosecuted for these crimes. I can say that I'm guilty and I can't be held accountable whatsoever. Or I don't testify, or I just essentially say Fifth Amendment to every question. They also said that she is not going to testify until her petition to the Supreme Court is settled. So we talked about this yesterday on the channel, that Ghislaine Maxwell is asking the Supreme Court to essentially overturn her conviction, throw it out because of a non-prosecution agreement that she entered into in connection to Epstein's first arrest in the late 2000s. And now she's saying either you give me immunity or I'm not testifying. I'm just going to plead the Fifth the entire time. Her attorney also said that if Maxwell receives clemency from Donald Trump, she would be willing to testify openly in public. This is part of the blackmail operation that they're trying to run on Donald Trump. Either you give me clemency, you pardon me, or I'm not speaking. And we don't know what Ghislaine Maxwell knows about Donald Trump. And obviously, the Trump administration looks like they're trying to strike a deal with her. Her attorney is asking for a deal. Donald Trump is flirting with a deal. It's all very strange. But this, combined with the audio we heard earlier today, is stunning. And this story, as we spoke about earlier today on this channel, is not going away. No matter how much Donald Trump wants it to, it simply won't. So I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I just had to get this video out as soon as possible. I apologize for everything happening so quickly. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about this audio, this story as a whole. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.